All right, y'all, the time is here. This house, the haunted house in Sydney, Australia. I've been here for the last, I don't know how many days. I haven't been vlogging because I've been working on the biggest project of my life. All my energy, all my purpose, everything into this project. I am now, for the first time, going back to the city that destroyed me, Los Angeles, California, and taking back ownership of my life and my power and throwing the biggest event that Los Angeles has ever seen on July 15th. I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna say my name is Yusuf Barakat, and I'm gonna explain my story about leaving LA, what broke me down. I'm gonna give a motivational speech about why it's important to chase your dreams, what got me back.
Videos from YouTube. And the reason we're talking about him today is he's kind of been launching this comeback around this idea of July 15th.
Drop the video you plan, the music video you plan on dropping, and you just do it with love. And you take
Wait, you're dropping a music video?
Within 24 hours, this song is gonna trend. This song is gonna be talked about by celebrities, reacted to by every single YouTuber in the world. This song is gonna break world stars. This song is gonna trend #1 on YouTube and get 350 million views in a short period of time.
Starts tweeting a ton at Drake.
The king is back! Anyways, Drake, I'm trying to find you because I want to invite you to my July 15th show tomorrow. This is energy!
15th comes around, he starts promoting the event along with Drake's image.
Strange situation. You see a completely empty Greek theater. It's not supposed to be that way, though. It's actually supposed to be completely sold out for a show that was supposed to start at 6 o'clock, but never did. It's a YouTuber who I believe goes by the name of Fousey. So instead, what happened?
They're gonna call me crazy because it's higher level thinking. But it's higher level thinking because you're thinking clearly.
What did I do before? I DM'd you.
I don't agree with anything you do, anything you stand by, how you live your life.
We're not talking about someone who's all there right now, okay? He's fucking going through a manic episode, 1 trillion%.
I don't know if that's true.
1 bajillion%.
You're in depression. That what you put into my head made me want to kill myself!
Yeah. Hey, Brian.
July 15th, a day that turned out to be more than just an average day in the summertime. What's going on, guys? It's your boy here, Paragoya, and welcome to the first installment of hopefully a continuing series called In My Opinion, or IMO, where basically I talk about the very heavy topics on YouTube. You know, it could result from, like, you know, some drama ensuing, some like big changes to YouTube itself or YouTubers and personally. Yeah, it's just something I want to talk about, you know, with the community. I want to get more involved with YouTube, like, you know, what's going on with YouTube as a whole. So I thought, what better way to talk about it than, you know, just give my 2 cents into the whole thing. So I guess you guys have real heard about TanaCon and all that, but I guess obviously I wasn't in time for that and the whole thing spilled over. So now I'm gonna talk about what happened on July 15th, aka Fouseycon, aka Drake didn't show up, aka a big shit show, kind of. What I'm gonna talk about basically is, you know, what happened before the lead up to it, like what happened to all this, who was there, what happened during it, what happened after it, and then give you guys all my opinion of what I think is going on in this whole thing. So let's just jump into it. Let's get right into the news. I'm kidding. July 15th. It was talked about whiles now. Oh, by the way, it's July 23rd, so obviously there's still new information coming out probably all the day, every day, or I might have gotten information and I'm just telling you what I did. If I do have anything wrong, please feel free to correct me and also give your opinion on what you think the situation is like. I'd love to have you guys know about that more at the end though. But for now, let's talk about the beginning, the build-up. So the build-up for July 15th came out of nowhere. It was more of just Fousey leaving Australia after he had some kind of, I think it was like a press conference or like some kind of meetup where I guess before he did something like this, he had like 3,000 people, but now he had like 300. So that's a big drop. So I guess he was thinking no one knows about me anymore. I should get my name out there. And he's like, what better way to do that than spread positivity? So that's where July 15th came into his head of, oh, hey, July 15th, I'll come back to the States, have the biggest party in LA, and it's completely free. I don't know about you, but whenever I hear the word free, I don't necessarily think it's gonna be good, because a lot of free things are okay, but it's never like a free concert. Like no one's heard of a free Xbox that you get. No one's heard of a free car, because they don't exist. No one gets free cars like on that unless someone buys them for you. Then again, someone else paid for it though. He's paying for this out of his own pocket apparently. I don't know, but he's talking about it all over Twitter, Instagram, making videos about it, saying like, hey, July 15th, mark your calendars. Hate Dies, Love Arrives is what he's calling his event. Hate Dies, Love Arrives is coming to you to LA at the Greek Theater. Tickets are going on sale whenever they were on sale. They're completely free. So I don't know how you buy tickets this event. You probably just have to show up. I don't know. So people like Keemstar, Scarce, all the big YouTubers that are like kind of had a thing with Fousey, whether it was good or bad, are kind of skeptical like what's going on. So Fousey hits them eventually saying like, hey, I want you guys to be part of this, and I want you to help me, you know, be a part of this whole new change, this whole positive wave. Which I don't mind positivity. Like I don't mind positivity. I love it. We need more of it obviously in the world. But if you do it the right way, I think, in my opinion, hey, that's the title of the video. Fousey's doing this all in the end, in the whole end game. It's all for attention and all to try to, I guess, rebrand himself or bring himself back to the limelight that is YouTube. But after seeing everything fails, I don't think that's the case anymore. I really think he's off the deep end. A lot of people are saying he's doing a manic episode because he's bipolar. He has mentioned that before. He's off his meds. People saying he's a manic episode. Now, I don't know a lot about manic episodes. I don't know about much about bipolar disease. I know I have some friends that have, I'm not sure if it's bigger or smaller scale of bipolar, or they're all the same. Again, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really disclose that much like information, be like personally like, oh, I totally understand what he's going through, or I don't at all. So I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on this. From what I have seen and what a lot of YouTubers that I've also gone through bipolar, that he's going through a manic episode. FaZe Banks has, I guess, gone through the same thing before in the past.
A lot of the shit you're saying right now is actually shaking me the fuck up, because it's like crazy how similar it was to like, I don't know if you remember like when I had a meltdown on like social media. Straight up, I was manic, like straight manic, and like I had all these like aspirations to be like a philanthropist, and I dead ass felt like I was so in tune with the universe and so in tune with like what I was supposed to be fucking doing, and it was like in the weirdest way, it felt so good to feel crazy, to be crazy. It felt so like, I felt so smart, I felt so ahead. Things clicked the way they never clicked before. I saw things that I never saw before. And not even in a crazy way, but it felt like almost in like a genius type of way.
Keemstar was talking to Fousey one night, and apparently Fousey slipped up and saw something about dropping like a song. And apparently, you find out later at the show, and the next day actually, no, you find out the show that it's like a big thing. It's a huge, he wants it to be like the #1 trending. He has a list here. Here's the list he says.
It's gonna be #1 on the charts within 24 hours. It's gonna trend. The song is gonna be talked about by celebrities, reacted to by every single YouTuber in the world. It's gonna break world star. Trend #1 on YouTube and get 350 million views in a short period of time. Why? Because I manifested that.
So yeah, he's planning to drop a music video that night after the concert to, I don't know, try to bring his music career up and over. I don't know. He puts DJ Khaled in it, but it's not really him. It's just like a recording of DJ Khaled from some clip. Who knows? It's a diss track on Rice, which is odd considering that his whole Hate Dies, Love Arrives thing is his whole big message behind this event. So why are you gonna make a diss track on a guy when you're trying to spread positivity? It literally makes no sense. It's like Pinky promising it and then double crossing right after. It's like, I don't know if it's a good analogy, but it makes no sense. How do you make a diss track on a positivity event? You're trying to spread love and all this good energy, and you throw that curveball at us. That's when everyone's like, okay, there's no way this is completely just for positivity. There's definitely like some underlying like goal that Fousey knows about and trying to achieve that no one else does. And that's kind of where shit starts to like hit the fan. Now we'll go to the during, when the real Fousey comes out. He's been name dropping a lot of big artists before this, like a few days before. He was talking about LeBron James showing up, Drake especially, which pay attention to that name because that name will come back later in the later in the story. Drake, J. Cole, all these celebrities are supposed to come to this event. Again, keep in mind, it's a free event that was made in a week. So I don't know how you can get big names to cut off everything and just come here for some event that sprouted out of nowhere. That just makes no sense. It reminds me of a thing that took a longer time and failed almost as bad, which was TanaCon, which again, can't talk about it. This is all with Fouseycon. So anyways, the event's going on. The YouTubers are there. There's like Alex Wasabi, Keemstar, FaZe and Rice didn't come, I guess, because they were whatever. Adam Sala, I think, was there. Adam22 from No Jumper was there, and they were all shocked that it was actually going well. The Greek theater, you know, they had a lot of fans coming to meet them. It seemed well, and then all of a sudden a bomb threat happened out of nowhere, and so everyone had to leave the area and go like away from the entrance and like go towards the back way. Everyone's thinking, oh wait, shit, it's only like 7 o'clock, whatever, I don't know. Drake said he's coming, and so they're like, oh shit, maybe we're making room for Drake. So maybe Drake was there. So like, okay, Drake showed up, good on you, Fousey. They're waiting some more time, and they're realizing that, wait a minute, this is taking longer than expected. All of a sudden, they just closed the whole theater, and the event's over. It's canceled. So it's over. Everyone's like,
I guess Drake's not coming.
What a bust, kinda wasting my time here, but wasting the money.
Some people flew from other places like Chicago. I saw like this chick.
I'm actually from Chicago. I flew out here and expected to meet Drake.
Somewhere over on a field down, Fousey, who has not even been to the event himself yet, magically appears in a like a yard with like some cars, like a car, some Uber he called, and he's standing on top of there giving some speech. He's like saying all this stuff about like, you know, this was supposed to happen. God had a plan and this was it. And then he's going on about like, thank you guys, I love you guys. Constantly repeating that, you can start seeing him get more agitated and more just like really aggressive, and it's kind of not necessary for an event that you kind of made in a week. I can't get mad. If I did that, I can't get mad at myself. I can't be like, ah, fuck, dude, I can't believe this. My event that I planned a weekend is destroyed and it's over. I can't believe it. Who would do such a thing? I can't believe this thing happened. Who would have thought this would happen? Everyone in the right mind would thought this would happen. So he's talking more and more, and then Keemstar, which I'm gonna reference him a lot because I watched his 3-part documentary, which the 3rd part is at the end of this video, so listen to that. So he brings up the Rice diss track, because obviously kind of like a lot of people think of, like, why is there a diss track at a positivity based event? And so he's like, I'll explain it to you, and he sings some of the verses to it, and I'll just play the clip.
Rice ain't got no spirit, got no deeper layer. One goes writer, one goes Fortnite player, one goes thinker, one goes Twitter poster. Add it up, it's a Rice dumb, sold everything in his life. The king is back, I look around, it's not the same. They love you first, they diss you next, that's just the game. What rapper lives with, man, that's a lame. A character with no character, man, that's a shame. Hey, I bought my mama crib, that's a fact. Bought myself a crib, not a fact. Rent where you live, your that's a fact.
And so, like I mentioned before, he has this whole idea that when this video drops, it's gonna be #1, it's gonna do this, that, this, all this other stuff. And he constantly is talking about himself in the song and just in the whole speech, or like little, like a side event that happened, he just kind of made out of nothing. And it seems like he's really is trying to just boost his ego, let people think that he's really changing when really he's not. There's one thing while talking about like Tyler Perry's movies, he was in it, whatever, he was rapping it, and it's just like, he got super into it, like super into it.
Tyler Perry put me in his movie!
And so he's dancing, and I've noticed a lot, again, in my opinion, he wants to be Drake. I think he wants to be Drake because if you watch that little segment, I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I don't want Keemstar or some big YouTuber to be like, hey, that's my video. But he's doing a lot of Drake-ish kind of dance moves. He's doing the whole like the wave back, all this like feeling like all that, like, you know, being like really Drakey. I guess that's the word. I think Fousey is trying to become a rap star or some kind of pop star like Drake, which you can't copy that. It's impossible. All that being said, you know, after a while, things die out, everyone leaves. July 15th came and went. People say it was a win. I personally, it's hard. It depends on where you're coming from. Obviously, I was not there, so I couldn't really explain it, but I couldn't live it. So, but from what I saw happening and all these other coverages about YouTube and like from YouTube and like what he's doing, personally, I think it was a success to some extent. Overall, he didn't get the whole thing he wanted to do. He wanted to give a speech and all this shit, and it just never happened. But he did get people together. He did get the theater kind of filled up. He did have a good time, kind of. I don't know him personally, but people seemed like they had a good time, and they realized like after a while, it's like, okay, it's not gonna happen. But hey, they didn't get scammed like at TanaCon, and they just, you know, it was a better time than I guess they spent money on a loss, but it's kind of a W because he pulled the whole event together. He got it to work. So basically, it definitely was a success to some extent. So now we talk about the aftermath. And oh my God, so much happened. So what happened to Fousey, basically? Fousey went quiet for a little bit. I know he was on No Jumper. I can't remember if this was before or after. No, it was after the concert. So he's talking to Sandpepper, who I thought was gone off the earth. He was on the No Jumper podcast along with Ice Poseidon. So him, Fousey, Ice Poseidon, Sandpepper, No Jumper, whatever. You know, the four people. They were there talking on the podcast. And he tells a story about meeting Drake. Keemstar wasn't there too with Shane, but that was like earlier or later. But Keemstar... Okay, hang on. I'm losing myself. Okay, so Fousey goes on the podcast and tells the story of how he met Drake. He said he somehow found Drake where he was performing or something. I don't know what it was, but he found Drake and he was like, he wasn't talking to Drake. He was like looking, he was like at the place where, I don't know what he was doing. Standing there and his eyes were like hungry. He was like he explains it. And he says like this.
And closer. He hugs, I believe it was Joel Embiid, 2 inches away from me. I'm staring at him in his eyes like this, hungry.
And so it's getting more and more, we're like, okay, Drake's coming close to him. He's like, stop and talk to like some other players. I don't know who he says. I want to show you the whole clip. I'll probably cut it up, but yeah, here's the whole clip of like him meeting Drake.
Knowing that I left my house that night saying I'm gonna meet Drake like a crazy person, and literally, Adam, I'm this close to Drake. I accepted that it already was done. As soon as Drake moves and makes eye contact with me and I stare at him, I see his second right-hand man and he nods at me like this. I go, what's next? He goes, brother, take my number. I'll tell you all the details tomorrow. I did it. I was hyped.
So you didn't meet Drake, he just looked at you.
So, yeah, that's what happened, you know, and then Keemstar called him out saying like, so you didn't meet Drake, you just looked at him. Like, yeah, that's kind of what happens. Like, if I met Drake, I would do a conversation. I would have a conversation with him. I would talk to him, be like, hey, how you doing? I love your stuff, all that stuff. But he didn't say a word to Drake. He just looked at him, like very crazy, like almost. That's him meeting Drake, and that's why he was on this whole thing of saying like, oh, July 15th, Drake's coming, Drake's coming, Drake's coming, Drake's coming. Turns out Drake wasn't even in the state. He was like in New York apparently. And Drake doesn't even know who that is. Drake doesn't even know who Fouseytube is. So that was even funnier on top of that. Fousey's putting his face on everything. And you know, if you put someone's face that's a high figure like Drake on these posters or like tweets, and you're saying he's gonna be there, if he doesn't show up, you look like a big dumbass. But he got lucky because there was a bomb threat. Supposedly he might have done it, who knows. More happens. Sandpepper comes onto the podcast and talks to Fousey about what happened. Fousey gets up in his face and is saying like all this shit because like, oh, you give off a bad vibe. I don't stand for anything you do, what you look like. He was just going off on him. He said like, I'm a beta. No, you're a beta, I'm an alpha. Here's the clip.
I don't agree with anything you've said.
Before? I DM'd you.
I don't agree with anything you do, anything you stand by, how you live your life. We are not the same. I'm a fucking champion.
No,
you're beta as fuck. I'm an alpha. I'm a lion.
That's a yikes from me on that one.
And then he goes on saying like, oh, the little bitch you are. How many times I like said this, fuck you, all that. And he leaves and he's like, hate dies, love arrives. After saying all that other shit he said before, and he ends it with the hate dies, love arrives. Back to the Rice Gum thing. How do you make an event and you have this whole persona about positivity and spreading love and peace when you're making diss tracks and you're calling people beta and you're calling them a bitch, a sucker, flipping them off, all this shit. How do you do that? How do you go about doing that, trying to spread the message when you're constantly contradicting yourself every time you say something negative? If you're trying to spread positivity, you're supposed to be looked at as like Gandhi or like the Pope or like a nun. You can't do any bad shit anymore until you decide to be like, I'm changing my thing from positivity and peace and love to sometimes we're positive, sometimes we're peaceful. We can call people's names like bitch and all that, and it's totally fine. When you do that, I understand you calling things over that. But when you're dedicated to your life for just being like, you know what? No more hate. Fuck hate. That's the only time you can say that and it'll be okay. But no more name calling, no more thinking I'm better than someone else. And he keeps saying that he's not, but he's doing all this stuff to really show he thinks he's better than everyone else still. I think Fouseytube is being a big... He's trying to scam us, or he's trying to trick us into thinking something else. Which brings me to the final portion of this, of IMO, I don't know. What's next for Fouseytube? Well, thankfully we have the answer. I don't have to guess. In the third part of Keem's documentary, he has a full half-an-hour interview with Fousey, I guess. In that 30 minutes, they talk about what happened July 15th, what his plans were, how he came to this assumption of making July 15th, what's been going on, all these signs he's been getting, and what's his next plan. So Fousey gets on, talks about, you know, hey, thanks for coming, thanks for letting me do this. You're making money off this. He's talking about a lot of, I feel like, bullshit now at this point that he doesn't follow behind. He goes on and on talking about, I was like in Australia, I had like 2 people there. It was really weird. It wasn't like usually when I had like 3,000 people be like, oh my god, it's Fouseytube, and no one's like freaking out about it. I don't understand it. He's saying that, like, you know, this was just a test. Hate dies, love arrives. It was just a test. See how it went, and it was fine. And it just, obviously, God didn't want that to happen. All this shit happened. He's going on about that. He takes one of Keem's like camera guys, gets to know him. He's like, what's your goal? He's like, to be a film director. He's said, I will personally fund your film. And so he's like, this guy's gonna have the biggest film in the world. He sounds like Trump, kind of. I hate to bring that comparison to him, but he's making a lot of like huge and like the greatest to everything he's talking about. And it feels like it's just filler words. It doesn't hold as much as it usually should. So he's doing that. And after so much talking with the guy, he ends up being like, I'll fund your movie. I don't care if my thing flops. I don't care what happens next. Y'all help you fund your movie. Which talks about what's going on next. So he said he had a dream or a vision somehow that he wanted originally to have his hate dies, love arrives at the Staples Center. That is very expensive. So he went with the Greek theater. So God didn't want that, so hence why the bomb threat happened. Arab investors start coming to him and saying all this stuff like, you want Staples Center? It's yours. And so it goes on and on. He wants it there on August 24th because J. Cole, if you do not know who he is, you're living under a rock. KOD, great album. He has a show that day. I think it's 23rd, 24th. I'm not sure on the date. I'll put it on the right corner. If it's the right one, 24th. If it's not 24th, I'll put the right date there. But he has a show that date, and Fouseytube said this.
You're not gonna see me on social media. All my moves, outside of this one that's gonna cause a catastrophic effect for my life, all of them are gonna be made in silence. Hey, J. Cole, I'm gonna be on a song with you. Hey, J. Cole, on your KOD tour, I'm opening up for you and delivering my speech.
So he's going to go away, basically, for a month and not do anything on social media. He doesn't have a phone. He's going to go on stage and open for J. Cole. That's what he said. Literally, I just played the clip for you. That's what he said. I don't understand that logic and that reasoning behind it. But after all that was said, everything happened. He said this magical thing that had all of us in awe, and Keemstar figured it out and said it for us.
An investor came to me, you know Arab money, and he said, Habibi, he goes, if you want the Greek theater, if you want Staples Center, it's yours. I told my crew, everyone's gonna call me crazy until I do it, because I've already done it.
Hate
dies, love arrives. 2
at the Staples Center.
Hate dies, love arrives. 2 at the Staples Center. On the day of J. Cole's show, he's gonna open for him and give his speech and all this shit, and he's not gonna post anything about it. So Fouseytube's gone. The world is left wondering and waiting and getting ready to watch either Fousey make a complete ass of himself or follow through with probably one of the biggest and most far-fetched dreams anyone has ever done. Give a speech and open up J. Cole. And he said if he does not do this, and if he doesn't complete his mission, he's not going to tweet about it whether he does it or not. He's going to delete his YouTube channel. He's going to just kind of disappear like he is now and just never come back to the YouTube life. It's a big fucking risk and like a lot on the line for something that's very hard to accomplish. Not many people can open for J. Cole. You have to really know the guy and people have to know you. If J. Cole, if you're watching, for some odd reason, if you're watching this, big fan of your stuff, I'd love to meet you. What would you do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna let him go on your stage? Or are you just gonna not do it? I don't know. I'm not you. I don't care regardless of what your decision is, but make one. So, in the end of all this, my opinion of this whole Fouseytube thing, Fouseytube is having a manic episode. Fouseytube did some stuff he promised, and he's doing a lot of stuff he's being a hypocrite about. He definitely needs to get his shit checked. He definitely needs to step back. Fousey, you're doing some weird shit, dude. You need to just take a break. You need to take a serious break, find yourself. You're having what apparently out were saying a manic episode. You need to get help. The fans that your diehard fans and your friends need to help you. What you're doing is probably not you, not entirely you. Like you're not all there when thinking of ideas. If you are, you need to reevaluate how you execute them. I'm speaking as I once was a fan of you, and then I kind of not, but like seeing this, I have to like, you know, give my 2 cents. Definitely needs to think twice about trying to pull off another hate dies, I keep missing that. Hate dies, love arrives, part 2. And if he's gonna do it right, he's got a month, which is what TanaCon had though, and we saw how that went. So I'm gonna end on that note. But I want you guys, the viewers, to give me your opinion on what you think this whole Fouseytube and this whole Fouseycon and all this shit is going on that happened July 15th and up to now. What do you think is gonna happen to Fousey on that said date for J. Cole? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna bail out? Is something else gonna happen in between that time? I'd love to know your comments. I'd love to know your ideas. I'd love to know your theories. Thank you guys for watching the first installment of IMO. My name is Paragoya. Thanks for your time. And again, it's my opinion. It's not wrong, it's not right, but it's my opinion. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it, but hey, everyone's got an opinion, and I just want to share mine. See you guys later.